could be missing out on £20,000 a year of tax-free savings every single year. That type of money is going to be the difference between enjoying pina coladas on your cruises in your senior years versus being unable to afford putting on 3 bars during the winter. There are lots of different ISA products on the market, and it making quite difficult to understand which one might be right for you. So in this video, we're going to walk through exactly what ISAs do, as well as the different types of ISAs available to you. And hopefully, at the end of this video, you'll be able to understand which ones will be best for you and which will help you achieve your financial goals. First, a bit about myself. My name's Ross Kelly. I've recently just sat my last CII exam, so with a little bit of luck, by the end of the month, I'll be level 4 qualified in financial advice. Not a financial advisor yet, but working towards it. At least I'll be able to apply, finally. I've always had an interest in personal finance, and I've been a bit of a tight arse, so I've always found this stuff interesting. It can be quite daunting to try and look into this stuff yourself, so with these videos I'm hoping to give it a much easier and digestible way of consuming this type of information, and to help point you towards any extra resources that you might need. Moving on to the video, what exactly is an ISA? An ISA isn't exactly a product that you go and buy, something like a bond or a stock. It's much more like a wrapper that goes around the products that you're wanting to buy, like bonds or stocks, and basically protects them from tax as a result. The two most common ways of saving that people hear about are bank accounts and stocks and shares. Bank accounts, you earn money off of interest, which is basically the rate that the bank pays you for them to be able to lend your money out to other people for them to also make money. And they give you a cut of that money that they make in the form of interest. Stocks and shares, on the other hand, is partial ownership of a company. And as the value of that company goes up, so too does the value of them stocks, as well as other things like dividends and stuff, depending on the stock. The thing about these two different ways of saving is that they're both liable to taxes. While these two ways of saving are a very effective way of saving towards your financial goals such as retirement or holidays, anything like that, both of them are still subject to tax. That's where the ISA wrapper comes in, because it's able to get itself around these products and make it so that you don't need to pay tax on the proceeds of either of them, as well as anything else you might be able to put into an ISA, which is a long list, but we'll stick to the main ones for this video. Now that we've covered what an ISA wrapper does, we're going to cover the 4 main types of ISAs. These 4 ISAs are cash ISAs, stocks and share ISAs, junior ISAs, and lifetime ISAs. Now each of these have their own wee ways of working, so it's important to understand the differences between them. The ISA allowance for the current tax year of 2024 to 2025 is £20,000. Other than junior ISA, which is a wee bit different, that only has £9,000, but we'll get to that later in the video. This £20,000 cannot be carried over to the next tax year, so it's important that if you want to save that money, you get it done in the current tax year, as once you move into the next one, there's no way to move it. The only other thing that you need to be aware of is that in order to open these accounts, you need to be over 18 and you need to be a resident in the UK for tax purposes. Again, there's a slight caveat with the junior ISA with regards to the age, but other than that, these are the rules that apply to opening ISAs. These ISAs are the most applicable to the most amount of people. While there is maybe 1 or 2 other ISAs, these ones should cover most people's needs. Starting off with the easiest one to understand, the cash ISA is the most like a bank account. This one, you're just putting money in, it's sitting in cash, and you're going to be paid an interest rate from the ISA provider. Like most ISAs, it has an allowance of £20,000 a year and must be used in that tax year, can't be carried forward. With cash ISAs, you'll normally see 2 different versions of them. You'll see the easy access and the notice ISAs. Now, as the name might suggest, the notice ISA, you need to give them a bit of a notice. You can't just take the money out whenever you want. It might be 3 months, 6 months, it varies from provider to provider. Normally, the longer time that the money is locked up for before you can access it, you can expect a higher level of interest. Conversely, the easy access ISA, that one you can get in your money whenever you want, whenever you feel like it. But normally, as a result, you're going to see a lower level of interest rate as it's less risk and all that stuff. Now, of note with the cash ISA, there's been rumblings in Parliament that there might be some changes coming to the cash ISA, looking like the allowances might be reduced or it might just be scrapped entirely to try and get more of the UK population invested in equities as a result. Now, nothing's been confirmed, so you don't need to worry about rushing to anything, but just be aware that moving forward, the availability of cash ISAs might be diminished, or at least the allowances for it might be reduced from the current £20,000. Next up, we've got the stocks and shares ISA. This one is maybe for those who might have a bit of a higher risk than those who would want to put it into a cash ISA. This allows you to protect your equity, stuff like stocks and shares, and allows you to protect that from capital gains tax and allows it to grow tax-free over the duration of the course that it's in the ISA. Normally with stocks, especially over the long term, you can expect to see a large level of growth relative to cash investments. As a result, at the end of this, the tax bill can end up being quite substantial. If you found anything in this video useful, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, lets me know that you're liking this stuff, and be sure to drop a comment as well on anything else you might want to know finance related. The next two ISAs we're going to talk about have slightly different allowances from the other two. It's not the standard 20,000 each year, so we'll speak about each of them as we get to it. Junior ISA or JISA allows parents to open up an account for their kids. It lets them put away £9,000 a year tax-free into the name of the kid. Now, these children can't access their account till they're 18. They are able to manage it and stuff when they get to 16, but they're unable to withdraw from it until they're 18. These contributions don't affect the parents' own allowances, so they're able to put the full £9,000 into the JISA without affecting their own £20,000 allowance for their own ISAs. JISA can be held in the form of either stocks and shares or as cash, so it's up to the parent completely what one they're wanting to put it into. Lastly, we've got the lifetime ISA. This one is mainly for people looking to buy their first homes. It allows a yearly £4,000 allowance, which comes off your normal ISA allowance, so it will leave you with £16,000 to spend otherwise. But this £4,000 is deposited into account and the government then matches it with a 25% match. So for every £4,000 you put in a year, the government gives you another £1,000 on top of that tax-free. Once again, this account is available in both cash version and stocks and shares. However, unlike other ISAs, there is a penalty if you want to withdraw this money unless it's being used for a first-time house purchase. There's a couple other rules that go along with that, such as the house value, which actually kind of makes it for, especially if you live in central London, this account might just not be for you. So make sure if you want to open a lifetime ISA, you think about the type of house you want to buy using it and whether that would fall under the other rules associated with it. Although for most first-time buyers like myself, the 25% extra goes a long way, especially given the current climate for the housing market. It's definitely a very powerful tool for first-time buyers to try and get themselves on that ladder, as the 25% free money is guaranteed money that can't really be beaten elsewhere. In 2024, there was a couple changes to the ISA rules in regards to how many different ISA accounts you can have open. Now, all you need to worry about is the ISA allowance. You can have as many accounts open in 1 year, put into as many different ones as you want. As long as you don't go over that £20,000 a year tax-free allowance, you can put it in however many accounts you want to put it in. We've now covered the four main types of ISAs, and the only thing left to really say is that when you're going out to look for these things, it's very important that you shop around. There's so many different ISA providers, so many different interest rates, stock selections, all that type of stuff. Don't feel like you need to settle down on the bank you've been with your whole life type of thing. Shop around, have a look about, and find the best deal for you. As a bonus tip for you to protect your money, there's these rules called the FSCS rules. These allow for people to have £85,000 protected by the government for each account that they hold with a different bank or firm type of thing. So in order to maximize your insurance, if you're that risk averse, it's worthwhile opening different accounts with different banks to allow the maximum amount of protection. Remember, it's holding the money with different firms that protects it. So it doesn't matter if you have 3 different ISAs, as long as it's with the same bank or firm, it's not all protected if it's over 85,000. So once you get to 85,000 with one firm, it might be worthwhile looking elsewhere to a different firm to then start investing with, so that all that money would be protected in the unfortunate event that there would be a massive global banking collapse, which admittedly, you're probably done in anyway, but you know, it's nice to think you might be alright. Thanks a lot for listening. This is my first foray into the YouTube video making. A bit rough around the edges, I'm sure, but hopefully with a bit of practice we'll iron the creases out. Way too many outtakes that I care to admit, but you know what, it's all a process. If you've liked what you heard to and you want to hear more, be sure to subscribe, drop a comment. I'll be reading them all, however little there may be. I'm hoping to keep this going moving into the future, and hopefully you can come along the ride with me. Thanks again, and see you next time.